And now, the Show Me Show proudly presents another edition of Great Emotions in History with your host, Gander Van Gosling.
I'm Gander Van Gosling, and this is another Great Emotions in History. Time! Elation. March 29, 1941. First Lady Eleanor Roosevelt was visiting Tuskegee Institute when pilot Charles Chief Anderson invited the president's wife to fly with him. Anderson was a very experienced pilot who also happened to be African American. At the time, the U.S. government did not allow African American pilots to fly U.S. military planes. How did they know they would be safe in the hands of a black person? White people who wrote military reports adopted by the government believed that African Americans were not capable of such a complicated task. By flying with a black pilot, Mrs. Roosevelt would demonstrate that it did not matter what color skin a good pilot had. Chief Anderson was elated that Mrs. Roosevelt agreed. As soon as he stepped on board, she changed history. Mrs. Roosevelt herself was so elated by the experience that she wrote about it in her weekly column called My Day. She wrote, "I had the fun of going up in one of the tiny planes with the head instructor and seeing this interesting countryside from the air." Soon after his wife's flight with Chief Anderson, President Franklin D. Roosevelt issued an executive order allowing Americans of African descent to fully participate in military programs. A flight school already operating at Tuskegee was then staffed with white military officers who began training black cadets to fly. As a result, this was a new opportunity for black pilots who would someday be known as Red Tails. This has been another Great Emotions in History.
Want to be part of the show? Support us at www.patreon.com/theshowmeshow.